Have you slept?
A little.
I just keep seeing his face as he was led away. He looked so young and vulnerable.
If one punch killed that boy, as everybody says it did, then there must have been something else wrong with him.
What can we do?
I'm sure Luke will get bail after the committal proceedings. Fingers crossed.
Oh, Jess, I'm sorry. Did we wake you?
No, not really. I was hardly asleep at all. I still can't quite believe it.
None of us can. But we've got to keep a grip for Luke's sake. We must get a second post-mortem. I'm certain that'll vindicate him.
Come in.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
I said I'd deliver a prescription to a housebound pensioner, so I thought I'd bring these round for you.
So it's your housebound pensioners and paraplegics day today, is it?
No, it's my dropping off blood pressure tablets and visiting a friend day.
Nice to see a friendly face once in a while.
You make it sound as if it's a prison.
I used to think it was, but now I'm slowly beginning to think that there is life after legs.
Of course there is. Oh, these are heavy.
That's the whole point of them, isn't it? To build up my upper body strength.
Oh, so you can take on Sven to an arm wrestling contest if he ever returns?
No. To make the best use of the rest of my body. So, have you heard any more news about Luke McAllister?
No, only that he's been refused bail.
Seems a bit harsh.
Well, he killed the lad.
No, he hit him, and he fell down and died. That's the way I heard it.
Same thing.
No, it isn't.
If Luke hadn't hit him, he'd still probably be alive today. Look, I've seen enough of this nonsense with what happened between Eric Pollard and Michael. Anyway, I didn't come here to argue. I came for a cup of tea.
I thought you came around to see a friend.
Yeah, and that's what you expect when you do.
You know where the kettle is.
Why should I do it? It's your house.
You're a hard woman.
And you'd be waited on hand and foot given half the chance.
True. Do you take sugar?
Eric Pollard, I want a word with you.
Betty, always a pleasure.
Perhaps not this time.
Is there a problem?
This rave thing on my land, without so much as a by your leave.
Unfortunately, I lent the kids my field for a so-called birthday party.
Some party.
Believe me, if I'd known that it was going to develop into anything near the event it turned out to be, I would have withdrawn my permission straight away.
So you didn't know they were planning a mini Woodstock then?
No, of course not. From what I can gather, neither did they. The whole thing turned into a complete fiasco. But then, who would have guessed it would have turned out something like that?
I'm sorry to bite your head off. I expect you were only trying to help the kids out.
Absolutely. I tell you what, there's shown there's a potential market for that sort of thing.
Well, we shouldn't be surprised at that. There always has been. I was at Woodstock, you know.
You're joking.
No, I'm not. What's ridiculous about that? You haven't always been a wrinkly, you know.
So, how did you get to be there?
Oh, my sister. She lives at White Lake, New York State.
Ah.
She was seduced by the lure of real nylons, chewing gum, and a young GI named Marlon after the war. Oh, she's a lot older than me, mind.
So you were staying with her while the festival was on?
Oh, it's a long story, and a long time ago, although it doesn't seem like it now.
Betty, it sounds like the type of story I'd love to hear. What say I buy you a drink? Spot of lunch, possibly? You can tell me all about it.
Well, perhaps a small sherry and a sandwich. I've just finished work, so I feel as though I deserve it.
Quite right.
You twisted my arm.
I feel really awful. I was almost sick before I told her I had to let her go.
It's the hard side of running a business, Zoe. Jennifer should have realised if the practice can't afford her, then she had to go.
I still feel awful. It's not as if she ever let me down or anything.
Then give her a glowing reference and she shouldn't have any trouble getting another job.
Dad, she cried.
It's understandable.
I said that if the business picked up, I'd let her know and take her back, but looks pretty grim at the moment.
Shouldn't have said that. Best to make a clean break. And if the practice improves in the future, then you should get in touch.
Give her a break, Frank. I've known you lose sleep when you've had to lay men off the following day. It's a hard thing to do, so give her some sympathy. Even better, buy her lunch.
That's a great idea. Are you free?
To be honest, I don't feel like socialising after sacking Jennifer.
Okay. And it's an open-ended offer. What about you, Kim?
Yep. Sorry, blacksmith's on his way.
Looks like I'll be sipping orange juice on my own then. Anybody want anything from the village?
No, thanks.
Why don't you call in and see Chris? Then you can ask him if he wants to do it. And I'll ask Zoe.
Do what?
I thought you were going to ask him to be your best man.
You've named the day, then.
Yes. Saturday, 22nd of October.
And I hope you'll be my chief bridesmaid.
I'd love to, thank you.
Woodstock. One of the most successful open-air pop concerts of its time. Betty was there.
Really? I don't know why that should be such a great source of amusement. There was 500,000 of us, and a lot of them will be about my age now.
I was about, 2 at the time.
Oh, thanks very much.
I went to the Isle of Wight Festival, which was good. But I bet it wasn't a patch on your Woodstock. Do you remember much of it?
Oh, I remember the rain and the mud. Oh, the weather was awful. But my most abiding memory, I can honestly say, was one of everybody getting on. Yeah. Oh, it was a tonic from that point of view. Lovely. Everybody looking after everybody else.
Not like at that rave.
No. Well, the organisation sets the tone. That was a complete mess, and they paid the price for making a complete hash of it.
Well, Woodstock was planned as a much smaller affair. When I say small. They expected 50,000 people and they got 10 times that. But everybody coped. I suppose it was a different time then. But you know, I don't think there was so much as a fist fight, let alone a death. A couple of births, I seem to remember.
Just think those kids will be 25 now.
Hey, probably dressing dead smart and very embarrassed by their aging hippie parents.
Do you think there's a possibility of recapturing those moments?
Well, it'd be fun to try, and there is brass in it. If it's organised properly, you mark my words.
Do you really think so?
Well, there's only the young uns got any spare cash these days.
It's not a bad idea, you know. Your field and mine. Pop concerts organised properly.
Hiya.
Hiya. Bad sign drinking on your own, Rachel.
No, I'm going back to work this afternoon. I just came round to drop off a message from Chris.
Oh, did you call in?
Yeah, I went to take him some books. He said to remind you to pick up his magazine from the post office.
I'm glad you said. I would have forgotten.
He seems to be coping with things much better now, doesn't he?
He's up and down a lot and probably better with other people than he is with me and his dad.
Well, I've told him he should get out more.
I'm sick of telling him.
Well, I've said he should make a day of the bank holiday. There's always plenty going on then.
Tell you what, if you can drag him out, you can have him for the day. How's that?
I might take you up on that. I wanted to go somewhere myself, but I wasn't quite sure where.
I'm sorry to waste your time, Zoe. I thought it was worth you taking a look.
Oh, don't worry. It's worth checking.
So, how are you going to manage without young Jennifer, then?
It's a case of having to. Just couldn't afford her. I need somebody good, but cheaper. The impossible.
Oh, I don't know. I might be able to put you on to somebody.
Who?
Well, Ned's working for me. His wife's helping out in the wool pack, and they're desperate for money. They've got a young daughter, Linda. She's 16, farm born and bred, and from what I can see, she's very good with animals. Could be a capable assistant for you.
I'll have a word with her.
Nothing to lose, have you?
Maybe an assistant I can afford to gain. Thanks.
Well, that's what good neighbours are for. What do I owe you for the visit?
Let's just call it quits, shall we?
Oh, if you're sure.
Well, if this young Linda turns out to be what I'm looking for, then it's been a worthwhile trip.
Oh, yeah, really cute.
Are you eating?
Yeah, I've not much of an appetite, but it's there if I want it. Is there anything you want us to bring in next time we come? No, honestly, thanks.
There must be something you need, Luke. We want to do anything we can.
My mum's got a monopoly on my supplies. It's a relief when I can think of something to ask her for. I'm learning it doesn't do to have too much stuff in here. It just makes you a target.
Look, I'm sorry, Luke, I really am.
It's not your fault.
Yes, it is. You stepped in to help me out. Now look where you are.
Don't blame yourself. It could be you sitting here. And I know you would have helped me because you did at school.
Well, isn't that the reason why they're going to have to let you out in the end?
What do you mean?
You were just protecting yourself. He fell and, well, that was that, wasn't it? Anybody could have done it. I mean, you didn't plan to.
I killed him. Nobody else did. Whatever we say, they've got me. I think they'll keep me locked up here for a long time.
Well, it's been most fortuitous bumping into you, Betty.
Likewise, Eric. We might just be in business.
Mum, could you do mine first, please?
I'm ironing Luke's shirts. You'll just have to wait till I've finished. Well, I suppose you think because he's locked up in that place he doesn't need his ironing done, don't you?
Hey, darling, just as concerned as we are. Back off for a bit, eh?
I just don't think you care about him, that's all.
Of course I care.
And Harrod, she's under as much strain as we are. And we've all got to try and support each other for Luke's sake. Just give her a bit of space, eh?
Sorry, I know you're right. I'll just finish this and I'll go and have a word.
Good. Darling, come here, come here. Go on, let it out. Go on, let it out, let it all out. That's it, come on. It's gonna be all right, darling, it's gonna be all right, I promise you.
I'm just saying it isn't going to make it happen. You have to do something.
Look, I'm trying to get this second post-mortem authorised. There's nothing else I can do at this stage. Come on. Shh. Come on. Hey. Go and make peace with Jess, eh? Go on.
Well, we'd best be going, Luke.
What are the people like who you're sharing a cell with?
What are we gonna do?
What can we do?
It isn't right. It could have just as easily been me in here if I'd have been the one to eat him.
Oh, it's no good torturing yourself. Come on, let's get out of here and try and think of something positive to do.
It was a tragedy, that you and Dine. But it's nearly as bad young Luke being locked up. He's not a bad lad at all.
Oh, terrible. They're a bad lot, them Dingles.
Oh, do you know him, then?
Why? Going back further than I care to remember.
I reckon just about everybody round here has had a run-in with them at some time or another.
He tried to sell Wally lead they'd stolen off church roof. Early 60s, that.
Aye, I remember that being pinched. I didn't know it was Dingles, though.
Oh, he wouldn't do business with them, mind, but he wouldn't shop them either. That was his way.
Aye, always played with a straight back, did your Wally?
I thought they'd all settled down now, but that lad that were killed came from a new generation. Bad 'uns, all over again. Some things never change, do they? Eh? Bad uns breed bad uns, and that's a fact. I was saying the same to Eric Pollard this lunchtime.
Where did you see Eric Pollard?
I'm having a drink with him in Woolpack.
You never told me.
Oh, I don't tell you everything. I'll be having a drink with you later in Woolpack, won't I?
If you're sure you've time to fit me in.
The drink with Eric Pollard were business. With you, it's pleasure.
You've got a bigger appetite than the beast of Beckendale.
Was it the beast that killed those sheep?
No, who knows? If I had to put money on it, I'd say it was a big dog. Probably some townie dumping a mattress and giving his housebound pet a well-deserved run.
Jack can't lose any more sheep. He's having a bad year.
Good job he doesn't have to feed you, then. Didn't you have any lunch?
I did. A couple of sandwiches. And guess who I saw leaving the Woolpack together? Thick as thieves.
Well, go on.
Eric Pollard and Betty Eccleton.
Is that all? Hardly front page of a tabloid, is it?
When you've a nose for business like I have, you learn to spot the dangerous liaisons.
So you don't think it was a tete-a-tete in the romantic sense, then?
No.
Seth would have Eric's guts for garters. Beast of Beckendale would be a little pussycat compared. You don't really think that he could build a private prison, do you?
Not one in a million. I'd stop him getting planning permission.
Did you go and see Chris?
I did. And he's agreed to be my best man. Here's to us. All of us.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks. Thank you.
Hey. Hello, love. Now, how are you?
Ear infection, drops, tablets, and lots of early nights.
You didn't say that.
Oh, I might not have done, but you could do with it. Right, Alice, go open the toy box. Let's have a chat with Rachel. I didn't like to ask him, but how are things with Luke?
I don't know. To be honest, I haven't got that much sympathy.
Oh, come on, Rachel, he must be going through hell in jail.
If he hadn't hit the lad, they wouldn't have locked him up. Violence is never the answer. Just look at Michael and what he did to Eric Pollard.
Well, from what I heard, he was just looking after his friend, and he hit the bloke just the once.
Yeah, and it shows that once is once too often. It's a primitive male reaction lashing out. He shouldn't have done it, and that's that.
Rachel, can I have Mrs. Webster's records, please?
Come on, Alice, we'd better get going.
Thank you.
They heard me, didn't they?
Afraid so. Look, you were only speaking your mind.
Yes, and it was only supposed to be to you.
Look, Rachel, it's done now. Don't let it ruin your evening.
I was staying in anyway.
Oh, well, if you change your mind, I'll buy you a drink in the Woolpack later.
Well, I might take you up on that.
Oh, good. Right, go on, Alice. Say goodbye to Rachel.
Bye-bye.
Oh, and don't worry about it.
He'll not turn up now.
I'll give him another 10 minutes.
You said that 15 minutes since.
What does it matter what time he comes, as long as it's before closing?
Domino etiquette. Ned's got to claim game, with standards to keep up.
Oh, they've heard about my Ned being a killer domino player. It scared him off, love.
Dominoes, etiquette. Have you ever heard how so daft?
It's not daft, it's standards. Same as that cricket match next week against Robertsfield. If it ain't done properly, it's not going to be done at all. I bet you're a fair cricketer, aren't you, Ned?
Oh, I've done a bit of my time. My lad's not bad, you know.
Well, in that case, I'll instruct selectors to have a good look at pair on you. And meanwhile, I'll give you benefit of my domino experience. You can referee better.
Oh, that's very good of you.
Very good of me. It's very, very good of me. Seeing as I'm playing it finally next week or two.
See you later. 2 gin and tonics, please.
I'm going to have to apologise.
Well, if you feel you must.
I feel as if everyone's looking at us.
Don't be silly. It's all in your mind. Just think about clearing Luke. That's all that matters.
Bernard, could I have a word, please?
Yes, certainly.
What I said earlier about if Luke hadn't hit Ben Dingle, he might still be alive. What I meant was...
What? You said what?
game to Ned.
And I want his dominoes counting before he starts next game.
I just meant to say that I'm sorry about what happened to Luke, but if he hadn't hit him, he...
Do you think we should get satellite TV?
There's enough rubbish on already.
It's just that people come into the pub asking if I've seen this and that, and sometimes it's on satellite. I just thought you might want it for the sport. It's supposed to be very good.
Well, right now, I just want to catch up on my reading.
Is that one of the books Rachel brought round for you?
Yeah.
She was asking if you wanted some company over the bank holiday while I'm working.
She should have asked me.
That's what I said. Do you?
Do I what?
I want some company over the bank holiday when I'm working.
I don't know. See what I feel like doing. Right now, I just feel like reading.
All right. Take her up on the offer. Get some fresh air and some bank holiday sunshine.
We have got to get him out. He's going through hell in that place.
Well, I'm doing the best I can.
Well, it's not good enough. That is my son in that prison, and I've got to get him home. Fingers crossed is not good enough.
Yeah, well, he's my son as well. Do you think I feel exactly the same as you do? Look, we're at our lowest point at the moment, but from now on, things can only start getting better. Bernard McAllister. Ah, yes, hello. Oh, yes, well, we were wondering what it was. Oh, I see. Oh, right. Right, thank you. Yeah, well, yes. Yes, fine. Okay, good night. Thank you very much. Camilla Finch. Those clicks on the answer machine were her. She didn't want to leave a message. She said she wanted to talk to us directly. They've authorized a second post-mortem. I know this one will show the real cause of death.